Welcome back to my video. This topic derived from one of my friends. She's South African and she's considered colored in her country. And we were talking about my trip here in Fiji and some of the things I had posted on my social media because she's one of my friends. And she was also asking me about when I'm coming back to South Africa and all that stuff. But the conversation got interested because we started talking about facts and truth. Her opinion is they're both the same. And I was trying to let her know that facts and truth, I believe, in my opinion, they're different. And the example I gave her was because we're human, that means no one is perfect. Therefore, my truth could be to her, I'm honest, I'm telling you the truth, I did not cheat on you. And from there, because it's the truth, it's my truth, you would accept that. But the fact would be there's a camera phone. On the camera phone, you see me on top of a woman. We're both naked. So the truth that I told her wasn't really the truth, even though it was my truth. It was a lie. The fact is there's a camera phone with footage of me doing something else. So you get what I'm saying? So I think facts, the truth, they're totally different. But sometimes the truth could have facts. But again, it all depends on the individual because people do lie. And from there, we just kept going back and forth. And I was telling her, well, if the truth is so much of the truth, why do we have law? Why do we have lawyers and judges? Why is that? Because sometimes the truth is not really the truth. Therefore, we need some type of fact or facts. But anyway, that spiraled down to my trip here in Fiji. And are Fijians really of African descent? From her opinion, based on the photos and videos I posted on social media, she came to the conclusion that the people here that she saw so far are from African descent. What we both agreed on is that African descent does not mean they're African. And I know she would say that because she feels that even though she's in Africa, she is not black. She's colored. So going back on, are Fijians really of African descent? We all know that the earliest human tribes and the first emergence of humans are believed to have originated first in one continent, and that one continent is Africa. Also, we know that the continents were once connected as part of a supercontinent, and that is when all continents connected. And we know that after the ice age, there was separation. So therefore, before the ice age, before continents became separated, we all know the first Homo sapien, the first human civilization began in Africa. I'm pretty sure at that time, they didn't just stay in one location. They ventured out to other places, which later became other continents. And from that, I was looking for some type of word or description to imply what happens next. And the only word I could find was the word ethnogenesis. And this occurs by a process in which a social group develops their own ethnicity that is distinct from its surrounding culture, and this happens over time. Also, as a traveler, you will notice different things amongst different countries and people, and it depends on where the people are from or what country you're in, and you will see their physical features are different, and some of it basically is just to help them survive and thrive in whatever their environment consists of. For example, in Africa and the Middle East, because of the hot climate and the weather, you will see people, their noses are a little bit broader, and that's to allow them to inhale and exhale efficiently, to cool down the brain, and to allow them to deal with the outside temperature, opposed to someone who is not originally from there. They might have some difficulty with the weather and breathing. So it's very interesting. It gets deep and you just start going down the rabbit hole of genetics, of phenotype, of ethnogenesis. But we all know factual that most people that's from an island, or you from Africa, or just anywhere it's a hot climate, all those people are going to have the broader nose. They're going to have the darker skin tone to protect them from the sun. And most of those people really rarely get skin cancer. And that's because of all the things I just named. And that also includes people that live below the equator. So that would be South India. So if you notice, North India, South India, which people are darker? South Indians. They're darker. It's hotter there. So as we come back to, in specific, the Pacific Islanders, which consist of Fiji, the word Melanesia you will hear, especially here in Fiji. And you're probably wondering, what does the word Melanesia means? Well, if you look it up, you Google it, Melanesia just means black, or it could consist of black islands. In my previous video, I mentioned that I have friends that I have met here in Fiji. And when I asked the question of, are you of African descent, or do you think you're African? I just want to hear their responses of what they would say. And I had one friend, the friend that you partially saw in the last video. She claimed that, yes, she is of African descent. My other friend is Indian, so she didn't really have so much of a say-so. I have another friend, she is native Fijian, and she claims that she is not African descent. She is Melanesian, which refers to black, but it does not mean African. And her opinion is that she's not from African descent. She is a Pacific Islander, in specific Melanesian, and that's because she is indigenous to the Pacific region. And it's nothing of her culture is African. It's all Fijian. So it all depends on the person you ask. Each person might have different answers.
I want to be called out. The majority of our Pacific is black. And when we say we're proud to be Pacific, it's proud to be black. The populations of Papua New Guinea, Vanuatu, New Caledonia, New Ireland, New Britain is massive. They're literally 80% of the Pacific. Polynesia is very small in terms of the number of Melanesians there are in our Pacific. And if you don't know your history, go look at a photo of the old Hawaiians, look at the photos of the old Samoans, look at the photos of the old Maori. They're black and they were called monkey. Acknowledge your self-hatred. You maybe have some anti-blackness within you, but our ancestors are black. Our people are black. Get used to it. Being dark-skinned is beautiful. It is not derogatory to me. And get with the times already. And it's easy, not like, oh, it's such a burden not to say monkey. Are you serious? You could say dickhead. You could say asshole, unless it's offensive to assholes. No, I mean, seriously, there's not an asshole going to come out, hey, that's offensive to me.
The more abroad when you speak to people, you become more cultured, and this is something that traveling will teach you how to do. You become a student of the world and how culture is different worldwide, opposed to others who do not travel or have not had the opportunity to travel as of yet. They will be confused of others' culture, while your interactions abroad while traveling will have gained you knowledge of others. So if you're on that edge of thinking about where you should travel to next, or should you travel, the simple answer would be, of course, I think so. Each country that you would travel to, automatically something will happen, and that automatic thing is going to be your change as a person, your attitude, and the change of how you see the world. Here, my friend and I are taking a walk near where I'm staying at, and you will see different phenotypes and different shades of color of native Fijian people here. And as a single man, I can say that I now declare Fiji has some of the most beautifulest women I've seen throughout all my travels, even more beautiful than women that some would say are very beautiful in the world in South America. My last video, I touched on the word exotic, and that's what you will see once you arrive here in Fiji. Exotic meaning that these people do not look like other people that you probably have seen in other parts of the world you have traveled to. And since this is my first Pacific Island country, I'm pretty sure around this region there is more exoticness to each individual island. But so far, I'm talking about the country of Fiji. And I was wondering to myself, why are there not a lot of Fijians who win Miss Universe? And I just had to dig deeper into it. I didn't know that to gain participation in the Miss Universe contest, a country needs a local company or an individual, a person, to buy the local rights of the competition through a franchise fee. So it's a lot you have to do just to be able to be in the Miss Universe contest. And I had no idea about this until I did my research and read up on it. But we all know that beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and beauty can mean different things to each individual. But along this journey here in Fiji, I've learned a lot, I've seen a lot, and it's fun just to learn another person's culture. If you haven't already watched my previous videos, I suggest you go ahead and you check those videos out. And until next time, peace out.
As we make our way through the night, left in stage 1, stage 4, yeah, as we make our way